For a movie called Suitable Flesh, really wasn't a lot of flesh. Hey. Hello there. I'm Scotty. You're not. And we're going to talk about Suitable Flesh, which is a Lovecraft movie based on the story The Thing on the Doorstep by Lovecraft, H.P. Lovecraft. And is directed by Joe Lynch. Stars Barbara Crampton and oh, come on. What the fuck's your name? Can't. My eyes are too bad. Heather Graham and Judah Lewis from The Babysitter. That's right. And Bruce Davidson. For some reason, we'll get it. We'll get into it. The story revolves around a psychiatrist who is visited by someone who claims that something is trying to take over his body, but he can't really prove it, and then he starts acting weird, then leaves. This propels her to investigate and figure out what's going on, which leads into a whole debacle with a dark, not really fleshed out body swap creature. Like I said, it's not really fleshed out, but I don't think you really need it to. So I enjoyed this, but my biggest complaint, and I'm not trying to be a pervert or anything like that, because sometimes you don't need it. However, when you have a film that is as sexually charged as this, and all of your sex scenes are of people completely fucking clothed, no, it doesn't work. I'm sorry. There are about 4 sex scenes in this movie, and every time they're almost completely closed. Except for Jonathan Sketch, who gets to show his chest hairs. And Julia Lewis also gets to show his pecs, too, But, when it comes to the women, which is mostly Heather Graham, nothing. I understand if it's a choice, sure. But I just feel like this is my biggest gripe in the movie, and it's, again, I'm not trying to be a pervert or anything, but I just don't think it works when you have a movie as sexually charged as this, and every sex scene has people mostly clothed. I'm just saying. The closest you get is a little peek of the side boob during one of the sex scenes. And that sex scene's already a little off because of the context, which I'll get into it. Yeah. Hold on, I'm missing something. Give me a minute. There we go. Gotta have my Agent D. It's actually grape flavored juice packets because, well, I need to buy the tea flavored ones. So, at some point I will actually have the tea. But now it's grape. What I have to do. I forgot all about it for the Night Swim review, and I was towards the end watching this, and I went, shit, my Asian tea. And I looked, oh no, it's expired. Now what? Grape will have to do for now. So, let's begin. And I guess it's medium res, because we do go back to it, but it's a wraparound basically. When we meet our main character Elizabeth, she's in a holding cell or a padded cell, when another character, Danielle, played by Barbara Crampton, Elizabeth is Heather Graham. Barbara Crampton comes in and she basically tells her that it starts with her going to the coroner, and the coroner's saying, oh, this guy's pretty dead. And then when she goes in to visit Beth, it's like, no, it's not dead. You have to destroy the brain or it'll keep coming back. I'm like, okay, is this a zombie thing? What is this? I don't know. Actually, before I continue, the reason why I even came on to this movie is because I found out. So I've seen the previews and stuff. I'm like, oh, okay, it looks pretty interesting. I better check it out. I found out this was originally meant for Stuart Gordon to direct before he passed away, and then in the preceding years after his passing, Joe Lynch took it up. And you know what? This all felt very Stuart Gordon to me. Except for the no nudity. I'm sure he would have had some kind of nudity in those films. I mean, come on, look at other come on. Reanimator. From Beyond. Come on. That's why it felt off to me, in a Lovecraft story. I mean, you had Color Out of Space, which didn't have that because our main character was a teenage girl. The mom mutated with the son. It was kind of weird. But, that's why it felt so odd, because this felt like a Stuart Gordon film. Like, he directed like Gordon would direct, is what it feels like. The no nudity is what kind of puts it off for me. Right? Because once that first sex scene starts and you're just like, oh, okay, I see, this is a quickie, okay. And then the next sex scene happens. Still closed. And the next one. What are we doing here? I don't mean to make this whole review that, but it bugs me to no end how you could have such a sexually charged movie with no nudity. People don't have sex like that, especially when you get to the one where she's having sex with her husband. We'll get to that. That's a husband and wife making love. There's no way they'd have clothes on. There's no way. I'm just saying. So, takes her back to where it all began in her office. She's with this guy who is having... I didn't know you could see a psychiatrist for this. But apparently, he's seeing a psychiatrist so he will stop beating his child. I didn't know you could see a psychiatrist. I just figured you'd throw the fucker in jail. Throw away the key. Me kick him upside the head a couple times. Apparently, hypnotism helps with that. But then she gets a visit from Judah Lewis's character, who comes in and he's all obsessed with someone trying to get into his body. A minute later, it's his dad. We'll get to it. So, it's his dad, and someone's, during the middle of this, his dad calls, and she tells him to answer it, so he does, and then he starts to have like a seizure, and then starts acting very differently. This establishes that whatever it is that transformed, he needs to be in earshot to hear. Remember that, because they're going to ignore that later. So after this meeting, she goes home to her husband, played by Jonathan Sketch, and they have sex. And in this sex scene, where she's fully clothed, by the way, she's like laying there, and he's going to town on her, right? And she's just like, whatever about it, until she starts hallucinating that it's Asa, the Jude Lewis's character, Asa. Then she's all into it, and she's on top and everything. But I'm just going, what? Again, I'm not gonna keep on hounding on this. It just doesn't make any sense, especially for a married couple. Just saying. Because of that, she goes to the guy's house, right? She flips out, she goes to his house to figure out what's going on, and that's where she meets his father, played by Bruce Davidson. Bruce Davidson is old enough to be Judah Lewis's grandfather. Somehow, it's his dad. I don't know. Now, Asa tries to tell her that it's not just his dad, there's something else. It's not really explained. which makes it feel off to me. The book or whatever tablets that he's reading off of shows Cthulhu, so there's something there. There's, nothing from you? Not today. Okay. Are you sure?
Yep. Just enjoying my time on the couch.
Alright. Are you absolutely...
I'm sure!
Okay.
So anyway, Sorry.
Okay. Pay no attention to him. Where was I? So she shows up, and the dad basically tells her, hey, fuck off. Like, he doesn't need your help, and I don't need your help, and he's acting all, right, just like Asa was in the office. Smoking a cigarette, acting weird. Right. So, what am I missing? Eventually, I guess she goes back, because they say it's 3 times the switch is permanent. So he's already been once. This is the second time, so he's got one more. So I guess she must go back, right? Or maybe she has I don't know. I don't remember her going back to the house twice. Anyway, this is where Asa pops in and is like, hey, don't listen to him. He tries to kill his dad. He keeps having a heart attack, so he's trying to... You see that he was having, like, heart problems, so he's trying to, And then they swap again, and then they have sex on the dad's desk. But then the dad's body is gone. Eventually, he kills him, decapitates him, and he's still talking, help me, help me. During the sex, though, he switches body with her. And again, I don't know, it's trippy enough, I guess. That if they were naked, it'd be even weirder, I guess. But this one actually kind of makes sense because it's like a quickie, right? So it kind of makes sense. You kind of would do that. So, I don't know. Now she feels out of sorts, and she tries to tell Danielle, played by Barbara Crampton, what's going on. Of course, she doesn't believe her. She's saying, you know what this means. I know I'm schizophrenic, but I'm telling you the truth. Because they're doctors. They know stuff. Sorry. Hands are a little jittery today. But, trying to tell her what's going on. She doesn't believe her. And the whole house burned down at this point. The cops show up. She goes right to see Danny, and then she goes home. He's like, what happened to you? You were gone. He's like, oh. She's like, the cops are here. And she's like, oh. And she explained she went to see a patient, and she left. Your phone. We found your phone at the scene of the crime. And they just kind of wave it off. She's like, oh, I must have dropped it. And you left before the fire started? Yep. What about the boy's father? Oh, we can't find him. Because, even if you'd say, oh, the body burned in the fire, well, how are you going to explain that he's decapitated, right? I'm just saying. But it's not over. So, we cut... After she does this, she's stressed out. Danielle doesn't believe her. So, he calls her when she's in the bathroom after a shower. He calls her Beth, and he does the chant. Again, she has to hear it. Remember that, because it won't make sense later. And they switch bodies. So now, he's handcuffed himself to his basement, so she can't do anything. So he's all freaking out. And she's able to get the phone and call Danielle for help. Meanwhile, Ephraim, it's Ephraim, it's not Asa. She keeps saying Asa. Inside Beth's body has sex with her husband. It's awkward. It's even more awkward when later he confesses it was basically the best he'd ever had. Like, he never came like that before, is what he says. Okay. A little weird. And he's smoking, even though I guess he's been hiding it from her. How you hide it, you can smell that on your clothes and everything. I don't know. But then in the middle of this, they switch back. Somehow they're able to switch back. I think it's through the phone again. And yeah, so that's 2. Technically, to switch one more time, and he's permanently in her. So yeah. Now I'm gonna address something that's a little bit an issue I have. They never tell us why this thing is doing it, jumping from body to body to body. Why? Why? Like, what is the point? Like, at first, like, Ephraim just wants to have more of his life. He doesn't want to die. And then once it's like, no, it's not really my dad. It's some kind of entity that's jumping from place to place. Okay, why? Why is it now doing this? You had a reason for why Ephraim would do it, but now why is it going from body to body to body? What is the point? It's never stated what the point of this. All this just keeps, like, it finishes its jumping process by, completely jumping into Asa. But now it's jumping into her. And there's no real reason. And then later it's going to try to jump into Danielle. So, why? I just don't get it. They do have one final confrontation. She takes off and meets at her office when they have a confrontation. She stabs him in the fucking head with this blade that he presents. And then she throws him out the window. He's still alive, so she goes out there and stabs the fuck out of him, and that's when she ends up in the hospital, in the psychiatric ward. And when he's still alive and starts to do the chant, and I'm thinking, so he's gonna become the coroner now. No, he switches bodies with her. Keep in mind, he's all the way in the morgue, and she is in a closed, padded cell, where there's no way she'd be able to hear him. How the hell is that working? It's like, we need, this has to work because we said so. For our movie to work, it has to go this way. Every other time in this movie, she's had to hear it for it to work. There's no way she can hear him doing the chant from all the way in another room, both doors closed. The door to her cell is closed. The door to the mortuary is closed. There's no way. And yet it works. Right? And, this is where the story is done, basically. And we're back to what the wraparound is. And Danielle still doesn't really believe her until the orderly guy is freaking out, and she goes out and she tells these guys, don't let her outside. Why not just lock the doors with the orderlies on the other side? And for some reason she doesn't switch bodies with them, because that would make too much sense. I don't know. She finds Asa's body moving, and the body convinces her that it's Beth. And then she tries to save it by using the but doesn't work. And then for some reason she switches bodies with Danielle, And then he realizes that it's all real. She holds a gun, gonna shoot, but the orderly won't move out of the fucking way. Now, what is your plan anyway? You're gonna shoot your own body, and then you're gonna be stuck in this body where they think you're nuts? Then she swaps back, right? Because the thing swipes back, so that's one time. And so then, back in Beth's body, she kills the orderly, like shoots him in the head, dead, kill that orderly. And then the two struggle with a scalpel as Asa's body topples by them because they knock it out over the gurney. And then, hey, I remember that word, gurney. Yeah. And then Beth starts singing a chant, and then it cuts away, and we see Danielle with the husband, Beth's husband, saying, she really, I don't know what happened. She just couldn't handle it, I guess. And he's like, I really loved her. I know you did. And then, so, throughout the film, we see her puffing on a vape thing. So she goes back into her office, she sits at her desk, she takes the vape, and she goes, which I would do too. But then, she goes into her desk, grabs the little thing, grabs a wrap, puts tobacco in it, like Asa was doing earlier, from, rolling it, lights it, and smokes the cigarette. So, and then starts laughing as it spins and then cuts to Beth's body and says, "No, I'm not her. I'm Danielle. You gotta let me out." So now she's stuck in there. However, I need to point out the caveat here. It's only been twice, which means it's not permanent, right? At some point, it's gonna revert back. Is that what it is? Is that what happened earlier? I missed it. It reverts back, so eventually. But I guess all she'll have to do is ask for a visitation. Although if I was Dr. Danielle, I'd be like, no, screw that. No visitors for her. You lock her up in a pad cell, you throw away the key, you duct tape her mouth shut, you cut out her tongue or something, I don't know. Oh no, this is pretty good. The gore was actually pretty good too. I'll tell you that much. Joe Lynch, of course, is going to have gore. And yes, I have replaced one of the movies with Mayhem. I had Creepshow there, but I figured, why not have Mayhem there if it's right, especially for this review. So Joe Lynch directed that one too. And I'll give this one a pretty good. I enjoyed it. I did. It frustrates me that you can have sex scenes where they're fully clothed. I get the actress didn't. I get maybe Heather Graham didn't want to be naked, but there are body doubles. I'm just saying, it's just, I don't know, it just doesn't work when you have such a sexually charged film with no nudity, and except for a topless dude. The dudes can go topless, which of course is how things really work, You also got to think the scene, right, where Ephraim or whatever jumps into her body. So I know this is a creature that can jump in anybody, whatever. But if you're a guy that's now jumped into a woman's body and has to have sex the way a woman does, that would be weird, right? I mean, personally, I'd never thought of it. But it's an interesting thing to think about, though. If you were a guy whose mind was put into a woman's body and then had to have sex that way instead of the other way, that would be weird. Vice versa for a woman in a guy's body, they have to do it the other way. It'd be weird. How would you know how to do it that way? It's I don't know. It's just something interesting to think about. A little thing to think about there. But yeah, pretty good. And that's 2 days. Scratch. Can we? There we go. Scratched off. Boom. So, what are your thoughts on Suitable Flesh? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'm Sky, and I'll see you in the next one.